these left to spin, and that's a half of one. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking the bat, taking the bat and just dividing it more or less in half, and we'll find when we go to ply how more or less that is, how well I am at judging where half is. But so I spin this, and the other one I just wrap up in a little nest and save for later. So, making progress, and this is a Caitlin Hunter sweater. I'll give you the specifics on that in a little bit. Anyway, onward, bye. So we're at the end of the baby blanket, and I'm gonna do a sewn bind off. Don't know exactly how big this is yet. It's big. It's bigger than I thought it was gonna be. But anyway, so I'm gonna do a sewn bind off on this, and the reason is because that gives me a finished edge here that first of all is gonna look like my cast on edge. And I like having the edges that match, but it's also kind of got the same sort of give that that cast on edge has. So that's a good thing. So I've started with 4 times the length of the knitting approximately, because I don't want to run out of my yarn in the middle, although, you know, there are always things you can do because it is knitting. So where we start is we go in 2 stitches as if to purl, and here comes, you know, the mileage of yarn going through. And what's nice about this, you can really keep a hold of your tension and keep this edge going the way you want it to go. So we've gone 2 stitches in as if to purl, 1 stitch out as if to knit, and pull my miles of yarn through, which hopefully I won't need. And then that stitch goes off. And then we're in 2 as if to purl, and miles of yarn, miles of yarn, miles of yarn. Okay, and then out one as if to knit. So here we are with the last few stitches to go. I didn't get the most consistent tension across this, but I have a feeling that since this is going washer dryer, that all of that will sort itself out. So this is this Sewn on Bind Off. The first time I heard about this was Elizabeth Zimmerman, also known affectionately as EZ. My very favorite knitting book is hers, called Knitting Without Tears. She was just a delightful writer. When I was a little kid in Wisconsin, she had a knitting show on public television, but back at that time, that was on the UHF band or channel or something, and we didn't get that. So that was the black and white TV with NBC, ABC, and CBS. And I'm sorry that I didn't see her stuff then, because I was certainly knitting at that time. And this certainly isn't the fastest bind off in the world, but you know, if we were worried about speed, we wouldn't be knitters, much less spinners. I've been working on some sock kits that I hope to have in the shop in White Sulphur Springs. My website is currently screwed up, which happens. Well, I'll show them here and on the Facebook page and figure out how to get them to you if you want them. At this point, however, this is a design that is in my head, has been actually in my head for easy 10 years. Easy, no kidding. And zip. And there we are. So what I have now, let's see if we can get far enough back that we can see what this looks like. Oh, there. Kind of, sort of. So it's a little rectangular. It's going to be interesting to see how this changes as it gets, oh, wrong side, as it gets washed and dried and used. It's a little bit on the diagonal, which tells me that I'm kind of overspun, but anyway, we'll get this in the wash, and I will be back to show you this when it has been washed and blocked, and then we will maybe after all these months get this video off to you. See you soon. That's the rinse water. There's a tad bit of dye in here, but really not bad at all, particularly because it's purple. 9 garter stitches on either side. Starts off with 5 garter ridges at the bottom, and I would have done 9, but I wasn't thinking. So 5 at the bottom, 5 at the top, 9 stitches on the edge, and 32 stitches in the middle, so that's a total of 50 stitches. It's dry. Hey, yay! It pulled in a little bit. I didn't have it tacked down on the blocking boards, which was great. It's great. It's all working good. But it pulled in a little bit, so it's measuring about 35 by 40, maybe, something like that. This was like a light DK on 6s, and I'm a loose knitter, so that makes it very floppity, right? Figuring that because of the washer dryer thing, that would probably tighten up over time. Anyway, there it is, and we will fold it up and I guess make it into a little presenty gifty thing. I need to show you the sky ladder, so let me grab that. I'll be right back. I always forget something. Back again. Okay, so I do think that we could have done this. We could have done this with the hand spun, and I think that would have been gorgeous, but I would have had this sort of doubt in my head the whole time. And this is simple and contemporary, and you know, it probably, I don't know, it has its own raison d'etre. So what did I learn in this project? I learned that it doesn't take that long to spin up fiber for a project. I've always been like, ooh, trepidatious about that. And I learned that even something like this, which seems to be a pretty active yarn, could probably have done this. So you can do more with those kinds of yarns than I would have thought. There are margaritas to be had. And it is May 15th and it's cold. It's raining. I mean, I'm like wearing a snuggly thing. Anyway, see you soon. Oh, that's right. I was gonna do the reveal of this in the garden because the garden's doing beautiful things, but it's raining, so couldn't do that. Anyway, see you next time. It's always good hanging with you. Fiber on.